Okay. I'm just moving back to my place. So welcome everyone. My name is Nevin. I'm a Qigong, yoga and mindfulness teacher. And in this session, we are combining on the movement side, definitely both Qigong and yoga in an all accessible format as much as possible. And I'm going to be also offering some modifications. And I would really invite you to really pay attention to what you are feeling in your body, so that if there is any pain or if anything that I'm guiding you doesn't feel right, you can just adjust yourself. Please just make sure that you're taking good care of yourself. We're going to be starting lying down on our backs. So just go ahead and lie down all the way on your backs. I'm just sitting because I'm talking, but you go ahead and lie down. In the last week also, I think we did this, a bit of a seasonal Qigong idea at the back of like why we are doing certain poses. A lot of times I would always have either a theme or like why I'm doing what I'm doing, or why I'm guiding what I'm guiding. So for today's, it's gonna be mostly outer part of the legs and glutes, a little bit activation and side body. Last week we were focusing more on inner legs and kind of strength development in that part. This week we're doing kind of the opposite, or the outer parts. So as you're just lying down here, just take a moment. I'm just also going down to feel your spine, like your entire torso on the ground, and allow maybe a little bit more relaxation. When you have actually this pose in itself, it's good for you to feel some space in your let's say belly area and the solar plexus area in between. In a way, the ribs and the hip bones, there is some space when you are lying down. So just be careful with that space, or keep that in mind, let's say. And when we stand up also, we'll try to remember, like when we are standing up, how much space we have here. Right now, it may be kind of nice and relatively spacious in that part of the body. And now, just before we even do the breathing, bring yourself into a big stretch. Have your legs straight. Push your heels away from you and take your arms up overhead. Come into like a big full body stretch as much as possible. If you have any shoulder sensitivities, you can have your arms out to the sides or in a big V as well. Otherwise, they're more like parallel. And now slowly releasing that stretch. And now bring your knees towards your chest. Rock side to side. As we are kind of now loosening the joints in the mornings, things can be a little bit stiff, as we all know. And when you are doing this also, make sure that you maintain most part of your low back and end of tailbone almost like on the ground. It's kind of very easy to lift everything up. We think it feels good, but it's not very healthy for the overall pelvic area joints. So try to maintain your end of the tailbone on your back, on your low back, still there. Just rocking side to side. And now release your hands, or take your hands up off your kneecaps or knees. Have them interlaced, and then push your hands towards the ceiling, up towards the sky. And now release. We're doing now stretching in a way a little bit and activating. You can feel the joints here between the fingers. And releasing. Do that one more time, and this time we're going to stay here. And as you're pushing your hands, palms up towards the ceiling, do something with your shoulder blades and almost like shoulder joints. Your hands are interlaced. And there are a lot of acupuncture points on the webs of the fingers as well as the fingertips. So we're activating those too. In Qigong, we work a lot with these acupuncture channels. And today's area, the outer edges of the legs, is gallbladder channel. And we're going to be kind of targeting at the back that we are working with that channel. And now release your hands. Now squeeze your fingers like around the area where you have the ends of your nails together. You're still lying down. Everything is kind of nice and easy, but you're just squeezing these points between or right around your nails to activate really like energy, to let things to really start to flow. You're squeezing and releasing and maybe feeling, oh my God, it hurts so much, doesn't it? It doesn't hurt, but it's just like a different sensation. And sometimes it may feel a bit like too much, but there's no danger with it. So just trust me on that. And now slowly release. Again, interlace the hands like that. And inhale here while your hands are relatively close towards your chest. And when you exhale, straighten one leg, push the heel very actively. Push, 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 exhale. Inhale, again, release. Exhale, straighten the leg, push the hands up towards the ceiling. And we're going to do this one more time, and even maybe taking a few moments to hear, feel the exhale, feel the back of the leg stretching as much as possible. Your leg can be a little bit in front or maybe slightly bent, that's okay, but do your best to push the heel up towards the sky. Release, and one last time. Push, 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 push. Feel now hamstrings, the area behind the knees is getting a little bit active. And now slowly release. Take your hands a little bit towards your knees. This time, like front and back. And this time it's okay for your tailbone to lift up in a way. Bring them close and release. And now take your both feet on the ground and have your hands on the sides and just massage the side body. You can maybe take your knees towards the other side and then do one at a time. Or maybe just like both hands doing the sides a little bit to really wake up the sides. And now release your legs, let them be straight. And with your hands, either in just like slapping or maybe making a fist, just tap onto the sides of your legs. There are some acupoints again in this part of the body, which is kind of good to do. Some activation in the morning for overall leg strength and kind of better flow in the legs. You can do this faster as well, maybe. Quick, 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 quick. And then slowly release, just let go. And take a moment to feel right now. Feel free to maybe bring your knees into a bent position if it feels more comfortable. As we are now shifting into more awareness of this moment and this breath, you can bring your hands into your lower belly if you like. And now guide your breath to be deeper and slower. And as much as possible, have equal length for your in-breath and for your out-breath. You may even like count up to 4 with your inhalation, and then up to 4 with your exhalation. And if it feels comfortable, you can do even like maybe up to 6 count, breathing in, breathing out. And as you are, in a way, inviting the mind also just to stay with this simple, but the most important thing in our lives, the movement of the breath. Take a moment to almost like bring into mind also, how did you start your day? What kind of mental, emotional attitude was there? Or how did you meet your day? Like the first thing, even like when you woke up in your bed, even like what was the first thought? Or have you taken any time in a way maybe to cultivate something? You may call this an intention for your day. Because a lot of times we are in autopilot even when we just wake up and we start to think about the things to do or worry about some people in our lives or whatever, like a lot of things, and we don't pay attention to how we are meeting the day. So allow this moment to be an intentional moment of really noticing how you are meeting your day. And if you realize that, oh my God, I haven't done anything like that, it's perfectly fine. There's always like a moment to begin new. So take this as however you have done in the morning, it's fine. But like take this moment as like almost like a decision point, how you would like to meet your day, or how you would like to have your day going. Maybe just like a simple intention of, like today I am thinking about maybe a bit like slowing down, becoming aware of my body, and maybe like noticing when I'm in autopilot or when I'm kind of thinking about the same thought for the 50,000th times. I'm just going to notice this and then release, just as an idea. Another one could be, I'm just going to become more aware of the breath today. I'll kind of intentionally bring myself to my breath, maybe, I don't know, 5 times in a day, and then notice how I would feel at the end of the day. As I'm talking, I'm assuming you're just breathing deep and nice. And now as we slowly start to move, bring yourself one more time. A big, nice, full body stretch, feeling yourself long, elongated. And now bend your knees again. We're doing slowly. We're going to stay on the ground a little bit more before we come up for more kind of standing postures. So just for the pelvis as well now, tilting the pelvis kind of front and back a little bit. So become aware of your position here, maybe a little bit of a curve on your back. And inhaling here. When you exhale, press your low back down. So your pelvis is just tilting upwards or more backwards rather. And then release, come into neutral position. And do that 3 more times with full awareness, exhaling, almost like flattening the back. Exhale. Inhale, release. Exhale. These are good things to wake up for the joints right behind the pelvis, actually, because they are really key for many things, from good posture to not having low back pain and like good gait overall. And now slowly from here, we're going to turn to the side. And I would suggest, if you have something like a blanket or a towel or something underneath on the side, it's just like to support your side body, because when we come into this position, a lot of times the femur head here, the big bone head, is gonna feel like, oh, this is too much, and just because of the bone pain you may not be able to do the movements. So have something like anything. It may be just like a loose cushion as well, pillow, whatever you have handy. And your head can be very close to the ground like that, or maybe a little bit lifted. You choose whichever option kind of feels right for you. And let your legs go straight as much as possible. And they're slightly in front of you, not like this, and not exactly like the same level either, but just like slightly, maybe, I don't know, 6-7 inches or so in front of you. And your lower leg is still reaching away from you, same as the upper leg. And you're going to start to lift your upper leg a little bit up and down. And you're not lifting the leg all the way. That's not the intention. It's just slightly, you're almost like bringing it parallel to this point, parallel to the ground, and then releasing. But now just take a few moments to build almost the movement or your awareness of the movement. So you're just lifting and releasing with full awareness and slowly, just like, not like da 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 da. This is not gonna really the purpose. You're becoming aware. Okay, so I'm lifting my leg, my heel is pushing away, and outer glutes are active. The maybe outer edges of your upper leg are active. Your core is active, especially this part, because everything is kind of working as a full line, as a closed chain right now. We're engaging, we're activating everything. Feel free to bring your leg here if you need to. And now as we are adding a little bit more, maybe you thought this was like, oh, this is too easy. Now hold it here, just parallel to the ground again. And do just like tiny bit of moves. Lifting, pulsing, basically. That's what we are doing. And so things are maybe getting a little bit warmer or kind of really firing up a little bit around the glutes. And now lift your lower leg as well. So both legs are lifted. Lower leg is lifted maybe about like 2 inches or so, not that much. And now we're gonna play here. Both legs are lifted. They will continue to be lifted off the ground, front and back. You may call this space walk, maybe air walk or something like that. Both legs are as straight as possible. You are really supporting yourself with the hand at the front. Your core is probably, belly muscles are really working here. And now you're noticing like, okay, things are getting a little bit difficult, but it's okay. Just stay with that as much as possible, of course. Really engage your deep core muscles. This transverse abdominis is working and obliques on the side. And next time when you bring your legs almost like at the same position, keep them there, but now move both of them upwards at the same time. A couple of times like that. They're still not like together. They're still away from each other in a parallel position and with full awareness of like what is happening with the sensations. Your heels are really pushing away. Your glutes are active, or I mean on one side, and your belly is really probably working hard. Just stay with that for 2 more rounds. Lift up, release. Lift up again and hold here. Hold, 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 hold. And then slowly release and feel the ease and bring your knee towards your belly and maybe just like tap to this area, which may be like on fire, as they say, or maybe just massage, show yourself some like nice attention and care, like your beautiful and precious body. And now from here, we're going to turn to the other side, but I'm just going to change this way so I can continue to face towards you. And you may be noticing like one side is feeling very activated, as we kind of did that purposefully. Again, finding the arm position, head position that feels right, and then straightening the legs. So when you feel ready, we'll start with nice and easy to develop the awareness of like what is happening in which part of the body. How can I do this really intentional movement? Lifting the leg and then releasing, engaging the belly and the outer glutes and going slowly. You can go even slower than this, lifting and then releasing. Even the release is also very active. Do that one more time and then hold it there and tiny bit of moves. Just pulsing, pulsing, pulsing a little bit more. And now when you are ready, lift the lower leg and then start this space walk, air walk, however you call it. And notice how things change. Lower leg is also active here. Outer glutes are getting really active as you are building strength, really stimulating, engaging. It's also, these kind of things are good for, in a way, like the tendons as well. We are strengthening the tendons. They're not really possible to, in a way, like flex them as we would do with the muscles, but we can just like help them to be stronger by taking time to do certain things. Like in Qigong, for example, there are a lot of squats, a lot of times. And this is one of the reasons actually to keep or build strength in the tendons and ligaments. And next time when you bring your legs close towards each other or kind of above each other, stacked, and now lifting them up high together at the same time. They're still parallel to each other. They're not very close, and you're starting to feel your glutes in a big way maybe. Can you do that 3 more times? Just simple, tiny move, maybe like a pulse even. And then now just holding, 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 and feeling, feeling, feeling. And then releasing very slowly, almost like feeling every moment of ease and bringing your knee to the front. This is almost like, to me, it feels like giving myself a hug, I would say, and just massage a little bit. And slowly release. From here, we're gonna go down, or more like come into face down position, and immediately moving into Sphinx pose from yoga. And in this one, your pubic bone is pressing down. You will notice when you have that sense of pubic bone pressing down, your lower back will have a little bit more space so that the front of the body can also lengthen. Your lower arms are on the ground, your hands are maybe widespread, and in an isometric action, in a way, you're drawing your lower arms backwards a little bit, and chest is reaching forward. So it looks like we're not doing anything, but keep yourself very actively reaching forward, shoulders down and away. So, and your head is not lifting up. So keep gazing downwards. So neck is long. And with your legs, they're on the ground, but keep your big toes really stretching. Your inner legs are also active, as well as your outer glutes. And you keep pressing the pubic bone down and breathing. This is also really great for the spine, as we are kind of lengthening the front part of the spine, breathing in and out here. Front also, the transverse abdominis area, deep core muscles are also gently stretching in a way. And as you exhale, slowly releasing the movement. And you can just maybe take a moment here to bring your head on maybe hands are stacked, or all the way onto the ground. And take a moment to just windshield wiper your legs as you bend the legs side to side a few times. When you release your legs down, let them drop down and bring your hands right under your chest or on the sides of your chest and lift yourself into a child pose. And staying in the child pose for a few breaths. If for any reason child pose doesn't feel easy or kind of comfortable because of any knee issues, bring yourself into more like a puppy where your hips are up towards the ceiling, your forehead can come down. And you can rock side to side here, or maybe move your arms side to side. So find some stretch again for the side body as well as your lower back. Really taking time to lengthen the lower back in case if there was any compression. A lot of times when we do the back bends, there might be, I would say, some compression in the lower back area. So we're trying to eliminate that just in case. And now slowly from the child pose or maybe puppy, wherever you are, bringing yourself up into a tabletop position. As you come here, your fingers are widespread, your elbows, wrists under the shoulders. Other options could be you can make a fist with your hands, or maybe fold your mat a few times and then have some kind of cushiony part under the base of your palms. Or maybe you can use, if you have yoga blocks or something similar, that you can place your lower arms on top, elbows, and then stay here for a few rounds of cat-cow tilts. And this is classical in yoga. Many of you are familiar probably. Inhaling, gazing up or lengthening the front. Exhaling, rounding the back. If you have any spinal issues, please be careful when you round your back. And don't go like this much of a big rounding, but maybe stay more like in a neutral position. Inhale, reach, exhale. And coordinate it in such a way that these inhalations are also very intentional, and exhalations are also very intentional. So you're really squeezing the air out. Exhale, 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 almost. Emptying, emptying, emptying the lungs all the way to the lower lobes. And when you are ready, we will slowly come into downward facing dog. Those of you who don't want to do downward facing dog, you can slowly come into a forward fold position, or maybe use a chair to do downward facing dog, or use maybe the blocks under your hands if you have blocks. Again, I'm assuming some of you may have. And then lift your knees, tuck the toes as you slowly bring yourself into a V. Just taking a moment here, we're not going to take too much time. Slowly walk yourself towards the front of the mat. And those of you who just came to the forward fold, you're already here. And now bend your knees deeply here. Your hands can be on the ground or maybe on a block again. And just bend one leg and then the other one. Lifting the heel and then pressing it down. We didn't take like additional time for hamstring stretch, so this is kind of an opportunity to stretch a little bit of the back of the legs. And now slowly, we're gonna release this. So feel both feet on the ground. I'm gonna turn towards the front. Your feet are parallel to each other. They're right under the hip bones. And when you are ready, opening your hands out to the side, staying here in this deep kind of squat, Utkatasana. Your knees are not passing in front of your toes. So feel your hips are really back here. And when you are ready, slowly, as you press your feet down, lift yourself up, coming into a standing position, and then exhale, release. Again, tiny bit of a squat. Inhale, reach. Exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, lift up. And as you exhale, slowly bring your hands down and allow your hands to meet in front of the heart. And just take a moment to again connect with this very moment, these very sensations right under your feet, right between your hands. Connecting with this moment as is and noticing maybe, oh, this moment is okay, no? It's kind of nice to be really just present, just with this experience, instead of going with the story and spinning and then judging and planning, versus just being as is in this moment. And as you exhale, slowly release your hands, open your eyes if they were closed. Now we're going to do something from Qigong, again to help with this idea of outer legs and gallbladder. Gallbladder is a good organ. It definitely works together with the liver that we have been working in the last few weeks also. They are kind of the pair. And it helps with the decision making. So, and myself also have been into this position many times. Sometimes we have like two choices and it's kind of hard to choose which one. And they say if you have good harmonized gallbladder energy, it would help you to kind of make better decisions, make wiser decisions. Who knows? Anyway, so as we begin, just starting with this simple arm twists for health, as these are called in Qigong. Both feet are now on the ground. They're parallel to each other. The position is about like shoulder width apart, I would say. So this is mostly for upper back, as you can tell. The spine is just rotating side to side. Just do that a few more times. And now add to this the heel lifting when you are moving, and then the arm is reaching out to the side. So we're transitioning into lifting the ball. You can continue to in a bit like faster pace here. We're doing this like in between, like a real energizer. Heel turns, body turns in a big way, maybe much bigger than the earlier version. Upper body and lower body are definitely connected, as you can tell. And you can also imagine, like when you're throwing the ball, something that doesn't serve you anymore, you're letting go, allowing it to be recycled, kind of just joined to the other energies of the universe. so that they will be kind of composted. They will turn into something else, letting, in a way, the Mother Earth maybe to do whatever that needs to be done. And now slow this down, the same movement, but in a much slower pace. And do that one more time, each side. And then just stay here. And now we're gonna just do something for the sides of the legs. And as you are tapping, there are some points, there are stuff on the side body as well, which we have massaged a little bit. And like there's a big point in the middle of the hips here, which could be used a lot of times for like sciatica related things. And from here, just go downwards. Side of the legs, we're tapping with a fist, or maybe slapping is also fine. Going all the way down and find your, let's see, is this, I don't know, fourth toe maybe? Not the smallest one, but the one next to it. And squeeze that one a little bit. Bend your knees to do that. Squeeze the area around the toenail. And then moving upwards, tapping, slapping, knocking. And then the hips. And now we're gonna add to this a heel lift. So when you are ready, lift your heels, open your arms out to the side and feel the squeeze. And then as you exhale, slap your hands and notice like, oh, I'm shaking. Inhaling here and exhale. 2 more times, inhale, lift, exhale. Last time, inhale. Exhale, and just take a moment to feel. Bring your hands in front of the belly. Allow your palms to face each other. Your knees are slightly bent. Spine long. The torso is kind of, the weight is sinking down, but the head is up. Chin is slightly tilted. Breathing in, breathing out. Feel the sensations between your hands. Maybe there is some tension, some kind of almost like magnetic pull. You may get connected with the energy, maybe some ease, maybe not, it's okay, but just like play with your hands like that. Inhaling, opening, exhaling, they're coming closer towards each other. And some of you may slowly really feel something between your hands. Check it out, just be curious, just explore. No kind of expectations either. Maybe there is nothing, but maybe you're feeling, maybe there is something, no? So just playing with that. And now slowly, as we transition, just release your hands, maybe just shake things a little bit. As we move, bring your legs into a wider stance. This is also mostly Qigong, I would say, but it's also kind of, in yoga also we have similar things, as you probably know if you're a practitioner for some time. There are a lot of similarities actually in both, and things also vary depending on the teacher as well. So for this one, we're going to be aiming again the outer edges of the legs, side to side. Sometimes these are called like side lunges as well. And you can have relatively wide stance between your feet here, almost like goddess pose in a way that we are doing. But pay attention, as we're going to be staying in this position for some time, pay attention to have your hips, if I turn sideways, really back. Don't allow it to be, or your knees especially, to go to the front too much or to splay in. This is not going to be good for your knees. It's for overall knee health. Pay attention to the position of the kneecaps. A lot of times, the usual cue would be let them be in the same direction with the second and third toe. So even though you are here right now, see, they're more or less kind of in the same, and they're not really passing in front of the toe. So keeping that in mind, have your hands on your thighs somewhere and starting to move like that, side to side for a few rounds. This is in a way a little bit modified version. And for those of you who don't want to go that low, Maybe you can just stay here, even your hands are on the hips, it's fine, and you're just gently moving one side. But when you move with awareness of like, oh, my weight is almost like shifting more onto this weight, just become aware of that. For those of you who would like to go deeper, you can go low. And if you want more action, open your arms and move like that. Notice this will definitely bring a little bit more of cardio element. Your heart will start to beat faster. I'm just going to go back to my hands on the thighs. Do that one more time, let's say on each side, and stay for a moment and then back. Now stay in the middle next time when you come in this position. Now you may need to adjust the position of your feet so that they are really opening, and you're pressing your knees almost like away. You can even like bring your hands there and then just guide them without like putting too much pressure, but a sense of allowing them to open a little bit more and sinking lower. Your belly is engaged here. You're trying to keep the chest away from the thighs as much as possible. And notice the sensations in your legs. Can you now open your hands here and go lower? Just do that one more time and then feel everything. And now slowly press your feet really down and lift yourself up. Lift, 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 lift. Come into standing position. And you're going to find yourself in 5-pointed star pose of yoga. Bring your feet parallel to each other now. Open your arms in a big way. Really now extend in all 5 directions, as we would like to say. So 2 on the sides, down and up, maybe diagonals. Anyway, this is called 5-pointed star. Release your shoulders down and away from your ears. As you're staying here, remember I talked about this space between the hip bone and the ribs. So lift your ribs without lifting or reaching forward with your chest. So you'll need to press your heels down, but have it like almost like a sense of inner lift for your spine. Your belly will need to be engaged a little bit, and you're pressing the outer edges of your feet down. Inner edges, just maintain the curve there. Breathe in and out. And as you exhale, slowly release your hands and heel toe your feet so that you bring them close towards each other or just step them together. And just take a moment again to feel, check in. How are things right now? Notice maybe any changes in the sense of just maybe like simple expansion in this whole internal space. They call this like space medicine, which a lot of times is missing in many of our lives because we are slouched, we don't really pay attention to our posture, and we don't even know what does it mean to pay attention to the posture. Like, so one thing to remember is check in the space between like the rib bone here you can find, and then the hip bone here. And they say for a kind of good posture, you're supposed to have like at least 2 to 4 finger with space in between. A lot of times when we forget about like our posture at all, and we're busy, you know, we're working with the computer or sitting kind of nice and easy, lazy, and we find the ribs and the hip bones almost like collapse on top of each other. And that has been a very kind of important cue for me. That's why I'm sharing. And what I do is just like, can I create some space in between those areas? Because that will help to lift up the upper part of the spine as well, so that it becomes easier for this straighter posture, so that I have more space. And when I have more space, I can breathe more, and more oxygen will mean kind of better working internal organs as well as the brain. So after so much talk, let's just do maybe some side body stretches before we go down again. So when you are ready, keep your feet again about hip width apart. They don't have to be that wide. But with your inhalation, take your arms up towards the sky and grab your wrist with your opposite hand and inhale here, lengthen. And as you exhale, as you're pressing your feet firmly down, bring yourself into a side body stretch. And as you're doing this, now pay attention and have the stretch in a way starting from the outer edge of your foot. Notice the entire side of the leg, and then the area from your waist to the armpit and all the way. And you're kind of gently lifting your hand. And as you're doing this, make it in such a way that you're touching something very precious, okay? And you're not like just stretching yourself to 100%. Those of you who are very flexible, please pay attention not to go to 100%, but stay at 70% or so. But gently holding your precious wrist and then just guiding yourself for whole side body stretching. Breathing in, breathing out. With your next inhalation, lift yourself up again into a standing position. Release this kind of stretch, lengthening, elongation. Now grab your other precious wrist and then find this length, almost like sometimes when you move or kind of just a little bit like wag your tail or spine. Then find this extension. Deep and nice, as much as possible. But don't go to 100%, those of you who are flexible. I'm not that flexible, so for me it will never be a problem. But I know some people, they are flexible and they don't know that, but they just realize like when it comes to this kind of a position, their arm will go all the way up and they will just like push to stretch to the end. Don't go there, because you will notice a lot of times too much flexibility brings a lot of pain in the long run because we don't pay attention to the joint. We think it's available, but actually it's not. It just goes kind of automatically again. And with your next inhalation, reach up high, and then exhalation, slowly release your hands. And check in again one more time. Sense of space, like here, sides, maybe a little bit more uplifting for your kind of thoracic area, and shoulders maybe really more above the hip joints here. Maybe even your neck is kind of a little bit backward. Almost like remember that your belly is a little bit engaged here. Your knees are maybe slightly bent as well. Just remember that stance, almost like creating a muscle memory of like, what does it mean to be in good posture? And turning this now, before we go down, into Tadasana, mountain pose. In yoga, this is like one of the poses that kind of many people don't pay much attention, but it is so key for having a good sense of like good posture. So your feet they're parallel to each other. You may have a slight tilt inward, I would say. A lot of times we would like be standing like this, and we won't be aware of like the position of our feet. So bring them parallel as much as possible and pay attention and see if you can make especially the outer edges of your feet parallel. So that would mean inner edges are going to be slightly like pigeon toe, tiny bit though, it's not big. For some of you, it's not going to be even like noticeable. But here, can you open your toes wide, 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 so you can feel the space between your toes. And when you have that kind of an engagement, you will start to feel, especially the upper legs, thighs, kind of active. Your knees, they're not doing anything, but they're not like stretched either. They're just gently engaged and slightly bent. You'll feel again the outer legs. And you can have your pelvis in neutral position, so you may tuck it in a little bit. Belly is a little bit engaged. And just staying here, shoulders down. Feeling yourself almost like a mountain. Centered, aware, because your legs are engaged, or you're aware of your legs. Your arms are relaxing. Your chest is lifted, but not reaching forward, but just like more contained lifting that comes from inside. And slowly, as you exhale, release this engagement. And this is a pose that can be done anytime, anywhere, even while you're waiting in the grocery store. So slowly bringing yourself down as we come towards the end of the practice. Coming back, coming down, and on your back, please. So bring yourself all the way down. And now, as we bring the upper body, upper back, your knees can be bent here for a moment. Feel again, even when you are lying down here, notice the sense of, again, this space in your torso, trunk area, this whole area which holds your internal organs. Practicing almost this space medicine, spatial medicine, sorry, that's how they call it. And now when you are ready, you can draw your knees towards your chest, hands on the kneecaps, and this time make circles with your hands. Both knees are moving in the same direction. As you're moving your knees, now pay attention to what's happening in your low back. You may be able to feel maybe a sense of almost like massaging sides, middle back, lower back. Just allow yourself to feel that. And now as you release one leg, now draw one of your foot, let's say, and get hold of this fourth toe, I would call it. But I'm talking about the toe that's next to the small toe. Give it a squeeze. And then from that toe towards the ankle, outer ankle, maybe just like massaging here. What I'm doing is here, just like this area, as we are kind of finishing our meetup, let's say, with our gallbladder. Just massage, and then massage the side of your leg here upwards, just to kind of guide the energy, hopefully to move with more ease so we can have a better discernment, maybe a better decision making. And all the way up now, upper leg, all the way to the side. And now same thing for the other foot. Again, getting hold of this fourth toe. Maybe it's called second toe. I don't think so, but I'm not sure anyway. The one that's next to the small toe. And then from that toe to the ankle, that's the pathway of the channel. That's how it goes. And from the ankle upwards, just massaging, nothing kind of specific, but just like letting, gently guiding the energy to move. And then upper leg. And now just take a moment before we go to the like final point. Drop your legs one side and then to the other. And as you do that, again, notice a little bit of a stretch on the side body as well as the front, and it's almost like diagonal stretch for the front upper body as well. And do the other side. Again, just take a few moments here to feel the stretch. And now to complete this gallbladder is a very interesting meridian. It goes actually on the side of your head too. And for that, we're going to do almost like a tapping with the fingertips. So you're going to be tapping the area around your ears on the sides. I'm just coming up to show it to you, but you stay lying down. It's like this area. We're tapping the area around the ears. And then from the middle part of the eyebrows upwards. And then again, almost like a circular. We did a circle or round around the ears. And then this is more like from the middle part of the eyebrows backwards. And do that one more time. And now the last point, or the beginning point maybe of the channel, is actually side of your eyes. And here with any finger, just massage this part, as if like you're massaging your temples. And then slowly, as we release this, just take your hands and just gently kind of tracing the channel through your head, and then bring your hands to the sides, and then just imagine you're reaching towards your feet and let it go now. Bringing yourself into Shavasana. Staying in this final relaxation yoga pose. If there was anything else that you wanted to do before, actually, you could have done that too. So finding a place, finding a moment of, again, connecting with yourself, with your body. All these self-care practices have a lot of times like great intentions behind, as you can tell, as you probably know from your experience. So take that in as part of maybe your today's intentions for today. What else you can do for self-care for yourself today? In addition to the intention, something very simple, maybe intention that you may have had come up with. Maybe there could be other things, maybe not, and this, the first thing that you came up with is fine too. And now here, as we stay in silence for a few moments, just allow yourself to really be connected with the energies, with the sensations, just simple tingling that's happening in your body. Allowing yourself to feel at home. That's the home base. Becoming curious of like how it feels. And allowing yourself to really integrate the energies, physical body, mental, emotional body, your nervous system. Let it be familiar with how it feels like doing nothing and just resting at your home base. Gradually becoming aware of your breath again. Maybe feeling it in your nostrils first and allowing to be deeper, fuller again as you intentionally draw it down all the way towards your belly. Breathing in, breathing out. As the breath gets bigger and fuller, you may like to start moving your hands and your feet, maybe wrists and ankles, circling, fingers, toes, wiggling. And when you feel ready again, you can feel if it feels good. Just take your arms up overhead, lengthen the spine, lengthen the whole body. Feel yourself 1 inch longer. And as you exhale, make a circle with your arms, draw your knees towards your chest. Give yourself a nice hug, saying something really nice to yourself. Maybe it's just like simply, oh, thank you, my dear, for taking the time, or however it feels right for you. Really giving yourself a hug and embracing every part of you. And when you are ready, taking a moment to turn towards your left side in fetal position, maybe just taking a moment to rest there. Feel the transition. And when you are ready, press your hands down to lift yourself up. Finding a way to sit. Any way is perfectly fine, but just like find this upright spine again. And this sense of inner liftedness. Maybe you can even add a sense of like, oh, I'm so glad that I did this practice, hopefully. And then as you kind of stay connected with your own being, taking a moment to bring your hands in front of the heart as we bow to the light within. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this class. And you can let me know any questions and comments when you feel ready.